And about Ukraine-Taiwan relations, I know that unfortunately there hasn't been a lot of things going on. There is no Ukrainian representative office in Taiwan, and it's very hard for Ukrainians to communicate with the Taiwanese people. I know that for some of the paper process, if you are Ukrainian wishing to come to Taiwan, your documents have to be processed in Russia, in Moscow, because they consider Ukraine a part of Russia's representative office sphere, right?
Yes.
And what do you think can be done to make Taiwanese people understand Ukrainians better and to somehow improve the relationship between the two countries?
Well, of course, to improve the relationship of two countries, it takes two, right? And Taiwan is not to blame here because Ukraine's policies regarding Taiwan are also quite unclear and there's really not much happening. We have a representative economic office.
Taitra. You have Taitra
Yes.
office. Yeah, in
I'm not sure if
Kiev.
it's technically representative, but it's a trade office of Taiwan and Ukraine from the Ministry of Economy.
It's not a part of Taiwanese diplomatic system. So
Exactly.
you cannot
It's
apply
from
for
the
visa
Ministry
in
of Economy.
Taitra.
Yes, but it does not help you with anything with visa, with consular services, of course. And then there's the situation with consular jurisdiction for Ukraine being located in Moscow, in the
Which is not
Taiwanese
acceptable.
representative office in Moscow.
Yeah,
which
well, that's
I
not
think
acceptable.
It's not acceptable. In fact, it's very illogical, I would say, because it does not make sense. As a Ukrainian, I have had to deal with the Taiwanese entry regulations and paperwork many times. I have been to Taiwan. This is my 5th time already coming to Taiwan. And this time I had to literally improvise any other possible way for me to secure my Taiwanese visa, not going to Moscow, because first of all, for political reasons, it's something that's not easy to do, to travel to Russia. Secondly, there are no direct flights. I would have to either fly to somewhere in Europe and then transfer and fly to Moscow, or to take a 2-day train to Russia.
Which is going through eastern Ukraine, the war zone.
I'm not sure. I think it will go through Kharkiv. I had never
Okay.
traveled that way. Yeah.
Okay.
The point is that for me, as a Ukrainian, it's not even an option, given the war, given the tensions in every other sphere of life that we have with Russia. It's really not an option for me to travel to Russia. And then I've also tried to apply for Taiwanese national scholarships several times, several years back. And I had to literally send my documents by post to Moscow because it was not an option for me to travel to Russia just to visit the Taiwanese representative office. And then you might know about the Huayu enrichment. My tones are probably off. The Huayu enrichment scholarship for learning Chinese. I'm not sure if you know about it. Yeah, it's
Okay. 华语奖
Taiwan-
学金，华语奖学金。
Probably, yes.
Okay.
Huayu scholarship, yes. That one is also administered through the representative office in Moscow. And while by the logics, Ukrainian citizens have to have the right to apply, at least by sending their documents by post, that is not an option because that scholarship is only given to students of Russian universities. While in other countries, it's more democratic and, spread out to give more people more possibilities. So that is the issue. And then this time when I had to secure my visa, I had to travel to Hungary.
Oh.
But prior to that, I had to email every other European Taiwanese consulate asking them if they could process my visa application. And many of them said no. So I emailed Ankara, Turkey, I emailed Slovakia, Poland, Spain. At some point I was even in Rome for my graduation trip, and I called them and they said that they could not do it, and I said, I'm already here and I have all the documents, and they said no, because I'm not a resident there. And then they gave me the phone number of the office in Moscow, which of course I knew, but that was not an option for me.
It's not an option for most of the Ukrainians. Those two countries are in state of war. How can you process Ukrainian documents in Russia? That's nonsensical.
And then I was lucky enough that the office in Hungary in Budapest replied to me, and they said, yes, we can. And
that's good.
I was very grateful for that, but it took one international trip for me in midst of pandemic, to secure a visa for Taiwan. So I went there.
Safer than going to Russia.
Exactly. I mean, it's also faster. It's just 1 hour by plane, And then they processed my visa in 30 minutes there. I didn't have to stay there. I could just fly out on the same day. And out of curiosity, I asked the consul, why is that the jurisdiction for Ukraine is in Moscow? Because, I know, and that doesn't make sense. And he said, it's for the purpose of language, which for me, I think, makes no sense at all. Ukrainians, I think, would find their way much easier communicating with a consul in another country in Europe than traveling all the way to Russia, for ideological reasons, for reasons of simply just financial reasons, because it's more expensive to undergo such a trip there.
Yes, and it's easier to go, I don't know, to Warsaw, for example. And there are many Ukrainians going to Poland much more often than visiting Russia. Well, why not?
With the low-cost flights, that you can buy for 20 euros. And
or you can drive there. It's a very good road going to Warsaw.
Exactly. So for me, I think it's an indication that Taiwan simply does not have extensive Ukraine policy yet. And it's probably not because that they think that Ukraine is somehow unimportant, but I think there's this factor of Russia that is on the table, because Taiwan has extensive relationship with Russia. As we know, they even have a non-visa regime for Russian travelers.